Today's practice is going to be one where we're focusing on getting into the hips. And if you have practiced with me before, and some of you have, you'll remember that I like to think about the hips as being a mandala, so a circular tube. And I want you to think about the hip or the leg, the thigh, as having an area at the front, an area on the outside, an area on the inside, and then an area on the back. So all the way through the practice today, I want you to not just be thinking about hips, but I want you to be noticing where you're feeling it in your body. Okay, so where along the hip are you feeling it? Are you feeling it in the front of the hip? Are you feeling it on the inner thigh? Are you feeling it on the outer hip? Do you feel it on the back of the leg? And I want you to also start to tune in just a little bit without over analyzing it, to whether you're feeling it as a strength thing or whether you're feeling it as a stretch or release kind of thing as well. Okay, so just drawing awareness to that. And then remembering that nothing works in isolation in our body. So as we work into the hips, you're going to recognize that you're feeling it in other parts of the upper body as well. So really just tuning in, getting present, noticing where you're feeling it, how you're feeling, how it makes you feel. Okay, so we're going to get started in a comfortable seat. For some of you, that might mean sitting on a block or cushion. And for some of you, it will be cross legs like I am. And for some of you, you might be sitting on your shins. It might be just sitting on your bottoms, legs, however you want them. So go ahead and just get comfortable for a moment. If you're in cross legs or sitting on your shins, take a moment to just let the palms find the thighs, palms facing downward. And once you're in your comfortable seat, just go ahead and close your eyes for me. And as you close your eyes, just notice the shoulders. If they're creeping up towards the ears, can you invite them to just relax down away from the ears a little? Give the fingers a little wiggle on your thighs just to relax the palms and all of the muscles that run up into your arms. Sit back ever so slightly, the chin lightly drawing downward. And yet the crown of the head lifting up. It's almost like you have a piece of string running through the center of your upper body, and I'm walking around each of you in your rooms and just lifting that piece of string up, so elongating and lengthening your spine. And with the eyes closed, once you've found this restful position, just tune in. Notice how you're feeling today. Notice any little background noises that you might hear in the distance. And just acknowledge that those things are there. Life continues to happen around us as we practice together this morning. And see if you can soften the space in between the eyebrows, around the corners of the mouth, the corners of the eyes, maybe even a little smile creeping onto your lips. As you remind yourself that this is a new moment, a new part of a brand new day, and you get to decide how you're feeling. Relax the tongue away from the roof of the mouth. And just give the jaw a tiny little wiggle from side to side. And just notice how that gives you a feeling of ease around the jaw and the neck as you do so. The shoulders relax a little more once again. And then let the jaw just simply rest into stillness. And go ahead and take a really nice, long, indulgent breath in, either through the nose or the mouth. Notice how your body expands and you lift upward as that breath enters your body. And the feeling of the heart expanding, the chest and lungs expanding. And as you exhale, see if you can keep that height, that length, but can you slowly relax and let the exhale leave through the nose or mouth? And everything that expanded starts to come back to center, just noticing that. And then again, big inhale. Feel the expansion, the space arriving into the lungs, the upper body. See if you can pause ever so slightly at the top, just for a nanosecond. And then slow release as you exhale through the nose or mouth. And we're going to do just one more of those before we start to move together, ready to ground down and center into the practice. So big inhale, nose or mouth. Feel the expansion forward, sideways, and backwards of the upper body. And then pause at the top. This time, see if you can sip in just a teeny tiny bit more. Always able to do a little bit more than we think we can. And then open the mouth and just audibly sigh that out. And again, just notice how you're feeling. Being aware of the breath. Being aware of this moment, being aware of how the body's feeling. And then gently, gently start to open up the eyes. And as the eyes open, if you're sitting on something, just gently release it, place it to the side. And go ahead and release your right leg out as wide as you can over to the side of the mat, keeping the left leg bent, heel in towards the bottom if that's comfortable. Okay, and sit up nice and tall here. Some of you might want to keep a block handy behind your leg if that's helpful. And toes are going to point back towards us. And this is really a gentle, simple stretch to begin with. So as we inhale, we're going to slide the right hand down the thigh and left arm's going to reach up and over. And we're not intending to reach the toes. So let go of that notion. You can use your block if you want to rest your arm onto it. And what I want you to notice here is that ability to relax through the neck, through the jaw. Most of us are going to feel a little something through that inner right thigh, but what I want you to really focus on here is the QL area, so the side body here. And this is an area that can get really congested and clunky, especially first thing in the morning if we've been sitting down a lot through the week as well. And just notice how that feels. You might be able to draw the shoulder back, lifting the chest a little more. Fingers are active, so you're really reaching them over. And just notice how that feels. Nice and relaxed around the jaw and the neck. Take another big indulgent breath in through the nose if you can. And then a nice relaxed exhale through the nose as you release. Perfect. And then come on back up to seated, sitting nice and tall. Keep that length. Inhale, both arms up to the sky. And now exhale, twist over to the left side of the mat. Right hand to the outside of left thigh, left hand to the ground behind your bottom, keeping the length as you inhale in the spine, nice and tall. And as you exhale, just drawing your gaze, your shoulder, your chest and ribs, reaching around towards that left side of the room. So we're not twisting with the neck and just drawing the neck around. We're really trying to lift up and lengthen. And as you do that, the toes of the right foot are still pointing towards you. So there's still that little activity happening in the inner thigh. And as you breathe in, sit taller. As you breathe out, can the ribs and the chest and the shoulder draw just a little bit further back? Notice how that feels. Taking another big breath here. Still relaxed around the jaw, around the eyes and the mouth. Perfect. And then slowly release, coming back to face forwards now. Big inhale. On the exhale, begin to just creep the fingers forwards. Okay, and we're not going to go very deep because it's early in the day. But I want you to keep the spine long, collarbone broad, and just notice again how that feels, because now we're really targeting that inner thigh area. In Chinese medicine, this is the area where we hold on to our fears, our frustrations, and sometimes our worries. So know that every time we access into this inner thigh area, we're cleansing and releasing here, just a little. And you might, as you relax, feel like you can creep those fingers just a little bit further forward as well. And perhaps not, so don't push or force anything today. Notice the breath, if it stays long, deep and relaxed, or if it starts to speed up at any point. One more. And then just gently come on back up to center and let's swap sides. Okay, so now we've got that left leg reaching away from us, toes are pointing back towards us. Sitting nice and tall here. And on the exhale, sliding the right hand down to, the left hand down towards the foot, and then sweeping that right arm up to the sky. And just noticing how that feels, and you'll see in my own body that it's a little more challenging for me in this direction. So just noticing where the blockages are, where it feels like there are some restrictions without any judgments coming into play. I always know when I sit down a lot during the week that this is going to be a fairly icky shape for my body. And so many of our muscles in the hips and the muscles around the core attach into this fascia in our lower back, the thoracolumbar fascia. QL is one of the muscles that attaches in there as well. And when these areas get tight, congested, it can limit our movement in lots of different ways. Take another big breath. Nice. And then just slowly arrive back up to center. Now, arms are going to lift up to the sky. Big inhale. On the exhale, belly drawn in, we're going to twist our upper body over towards the right side of the mat. Our hand finding the outer knee, other hand to the ground. Big breath in, inhale. Remember, ribs, chest, and shoulder draw round as we exhale. And we're only gazing to where it feels comfortable for our neck. So we're not trying to twist or make the twist happen with our neck here. And just tuning in, noticing how things are feeling in our body today. And this always feels really good for me through the upper back as well. Some of you are going to continue to notice a little bit through the inner thigh. And just keeping in mind, everything is attached. Everything works together. Everything's complementary in the body. When one muscle's working, another is releasing. And that's why I ask you to just keep on tuning in today. Take another breath. Can you sit a little taller? Inhale. And on the exhale, can you just reach around a teeny tiny bit further? Nice. And then when that exhale is complete, just slowly come back to face me and big breath in to lengthen that spine. Collarbone stays nice and broad. And then on the exhale, just slowly reaching forwards with those fingers. And again, now we're coming to target that inner thigh. And one of the reasons I like to do the stretch forward like this with one leg at a time is you really get to notice which side of the body is holding that congestion. Sometimes we have this habit of crossing our legs more on one side than the other. And sometimes when we're under pressure, we can grip these inner thigh muscles a little. So just notice in your body, how does it feel? Take a big breath in and just creep those fingers forward if that's accessible for you right now. If it's not, know that it's okay to stay where you were. Breath is slow, long, and relaxed. Taking our time to explore, just another big inhale and exhale here. And then gently working your way back up to a seat. Now, if you were using props, just clearing the mat, we're going to come on over into tabletop position here. And we're going to keep it pretty simple to begin with. Shoulders are above the wrists, hips are above the knees. Now, there's the option, if you want to take that right leg out to the side. So it's kind of like straight leg out to the side here, or just keep the knee on the floor. As you inhale, soften the belly, so the tailbone is going to lift, belly draws down, chest reaches forward. And as you exhale, rounding through the spine, and it's going to be a little limited if you've got that leg out, so just go with it. If it feels awkward, come back to what you know. Inhale, coming back through center. And just close your eyes, whether your knee is on the ground or the leg is lifted. Keep flowing back and forth with the breath. So the inhale opens the front body, the exhale, the opposite side. And just notice where you're feeling it, how you're feeling it. Take another breath like this. The fingers are wide. Every exhale, you're pushing the ground away to create more space in between the shoulders. And when you finish the last exhale, just come back to neutral. If your knee's on the ground, go ahead and lift the leg up now so that the leg is straight. And you're going to lift your body up here for gate pose as well. Sweeping left arm up to the sky. So I'm not mirroring you at the moment. And then sweeping the arm up and over. So we're getting into that QL area again here. But really nicely getting into the hips a little here as well. Hand is sliding down towards the ankle of that general direction. Big breath. And then go ahead and place left hand to the ground, right hand to the sky, sweeping it up and over. So now you'll feel it coming through the front of that hip and side body here. Some of you might go further and lift the leg, coming into a kind of mini side plank. If you do, toes point towards you, heel reaches away, and you'll feel the outer hip muscles working now. Nice big breath. And then if the foot's lifted, bring it back down to earth as you lift yourself up. And then simply hands to the ground, knee to the ground, and let's swap over for that cat and cow here, okay? So you're going to have that left leg extended on the inhale, belly softening, chest forward. And on the exhale, rounding through the spine here. Inhale, chest, belly softening. And then exhale, rounding. Remember, option to keep the knee on the floor. We're going to do 2 more rounds like that. Just slowing things down, checking in, tuning in. Last one. And when you finish that last one, Just slowly lifting yourself up. If the knee was on the ground, extending the leg, sweeping right arm up to the sky. And again, I'm not mirroring you here, so I'm doing the same side as you. Left hand sliding down the leg, right hand reading up and over. And just noticing, for me, it's a lot of release in the inner thigh, but a lot of work through the outer side body here as well. Shoulder draws back, fingers reaching. Nice and relaxed around the jaw, around the neck. And then go ahead and place that right hand down to the ground, fingertips or palm, and then reach the left arm up and over, pushing down to the outer edge of the foot. Option, as we said before, picking up the leg, toes come back towards us, feeling the glutes, the outer hip muscles working to steady us. Keep that hip above the knee or in that general direction. Take another big breath here. And then slowly release everything back down to earth. Hands come to the floor, legs come to the floor. And then go ahead and tuck those toes under. Push the ground away, hips to the sky, knees lifted, downward facing dog. First down dog of the day for some of us. So just explore how the back of the legs feel now as you paddle the feet out here, lifting one heel, bending the same knee. And as you do that, use the hands to push the ground away. Really lift the hips up nice and high to the sky. Slow movements, but really intentional. So as you're here, notice how the Achilles, just the back of the ankle feels. How does the calf area feel? How do the hamstrings, those bigger, juicier muscles at the top of the leg feel? Notice any areas that feel good, any areas that feel resistant. How does it feel from left to right? And then just settle into stillness. Whether your heels are close to the ground or not, doesn't matter. Just keep pushing the ground away with the hands. And then go ahead and bring the weight into the left foot. Right leg lifts. Exhale, bend the knee, heel to bottom, knee to sky. And make sure the weight continues to be spread evenly through the hands here. And you can either keep the heel squeezing to the bottom, knee to sky, static position, or just draw a couple of circles clockwise with the knee. They can be big or small, your choice. Just a little space around the hip socket here. One more breath, one more circle. And then go ahead and extend that leg behind you. So look to the top of the mat. Slowly step right knee forward, left knee comes down. And then lift yourself up away from the ground. Belly draws in and up. So it's like you're not sinking down into the hip, you're drawing back with a bit more lift. Fingers to the sky. And I want you to kind of grip the mat with the feet. So it's almost like you're drawing the feet towards each other, which fires up the inner thigh muscles. You're going to feel it through the front of that left hip here. Imagine there's a block in between your hands, above your head. So there's that feeling of the upper back muscles here firing up. And yet at the same time, nice and relaxed around the neck and jaw. Can you sink a little deeper? But can you imagine that everything from the belly button down goes down? Everything from the belly button up lifting. And notice how that feels. And then let's guide the hands to heart center here. Big breath in. Keep the legs nice and strong. As you exhale, gently twist over to face the right side of the room here. Notice how that increases the front of the left hip feeling. Some of you will stay here. Some of you will take right hand back, left hand forward. And can you reach those fingers as far away as you can? So a little work for the spine here, which is perfect. Now some will stay here, some will continue with me. Flipping left palm up, right hand traveling down to either find the back of the calf or lower back. And lifting up with the left fingers. Still gripping the mat fiercely with those feet for your control. One big breath. Keep lifting the heart upward rather than collapsing into the lower back. And then slowly release the hands down to the mat. Now this is where some of you might want to grab a block. So you can place a block under the hands here. Now we're going to just slowly start to draw our left hip back above left knee, straightening out right leg, or your version of straight. Doesn't need to be perfect, remember. Toes point towards us, so we feel it through the back of the leg. Inhale brings us to a bent knee, hips coming forward, heart lifting. So we come back to the front of the hip. Exhale, straightening out the legs, toes point towards us, heart towards toes. And then inhale, chest forward. Let's do that just one more time. Exhale, lengthening through the back line of the legs. And then inhale, coming back to where we arrived here. Okay, one big breath. And then keep left hand on the ground or the block. Just simply twist the body over to the right side of the room. Right hand up to the sky here. Really pushing the earth away with left hand, whether it's on the block or ground, doesn't matter. Some will stay here. Some are going to pick up left foot, reaching the hand around towards it. And you can push the foot into the hand, lean back some more. If the hand and foot don't reach, which will be many of us, we're going to reach the hand and foot actively towards each other. So you'll feel the hamstrings and glutes working to help you there. You're still getting that juicy little twist in the spine. Big breath. Nice. And then slowly release the foot if you've got it. Hands to the top of the mat. Blocks out of the way. Tug the toes, lift the knee, step it back to plank. Heels reach away, hands pushing the ground away, belly in. Keep the knees up or lower the knees down. Chaturanga, slow motion, one straight line all the way down. Inhale, baby cobra first round. Lower yourself back down and then inhale this time a little higher into cobra. Hug the elbows into the body, chest lift so you feel the back body working. Nice. And then tuck those toes under, lift up to downward facing dog. 3 big breaths here. So again, just tuning in. How do I feel? How does my body feel in this moment? Can you use the hands to push the ground away and at the same time lift the hips really high to the sky? Notice how that elongates or lengthens the spine. Notice how the back of the legs are feeling here. You might feel different between left and right leg because we've done a little more work on one side than the other. And when you finish the 3rd breath, weight into the right foot, left leg lifting. Exhale, bend the knee, heel to bum. Knee to the sky. Option to stay still or a couple of anti-clockwise circles here. Just getting into that hip socket area. Weight is spread evenly between both hands, remember here. Just notice how that feels for you. And then go ahead and straighten left leg out. Look to the top of the mat. Step the foot between the hands. Right knee down, top of the foot to the earth. And then fingers lift up to the sky. Okay? And grab the mat with the feet. Really kind of draw the space in between towards each other. Belly in and up here. Nice and strong. Imagining that block in between the hands. Upper back firing as well. So we're strengthening and working into lots of places here. I'm going to take another breath here. Guide those hands to heart center. Big breath in to lengthen the spine. Exhale, twisting to the left now. Some of us are going to stay here. Some will reach left hand back, right hand forward. Reach the fingers as far away as you can. So you're really motivating that twist. Stay here if you wish. Right hand flips if you want to join me. Left hand comes down towards the thigh or the lower back. Right hand lifting up and back. Now left big toe is going to want to peel away from the earth. Push it back down. Keep lifting the heart upward. One big breath. And then slowly control the release. Hands come down to the mat. Now this is where your blocks are handy. Grabbing blocks under the hands if you wish. Now as we exhale, we're going to start to draw right hip back above right knee. Straightening out left leg or our version of straight. Remember, nothing has to be perfect. Nothing is perfect. Toes towards us. Feeling it through the back of the leg. Collarbone broad. And our inhale takes us forward into front of right hip. So you're going to feel it through psoas area again. Nice. And then straighten out the leg. Exhale. When I say straighten, remember your version. Inhale, bending the knee, heart comes forward. Perfect. Exhale, straightening. Notice how this side feels compared to the first side. Inhale. We've got just one more to go. Exhale. And then inhale. Now keeping your block under your hand if you wish on the right side, you're going to push the right hand into that block or the earth. On your exhale, twist the body to face left side of the room, left hand reaching up to the sky here. And just notice how it feels to draw the ribs, chest, shoulder back. Now some of us are going to stay here. Some of us are going to bend right knee. Reach around, left hand taking hold of the foot, pushing the foot into the hand as you lean back. Hand and foot are likely to not connect for many of us, so reaching them actively towards each other. And just notice how that feels. Take another big breath here. Really pushing the earth away with your right hand to help with that twist. And then go ahead and release the foot, hands to the ground, blocks out of our way. Tuck the right toes under, lift the knee, step it back to our plank. Really strong through the legs. Option to keep the legs lifted or lower the knees. Chaturanga, one straight line all the way down. Inhale, first one, baby cobra, just a peel of the upper chest away from the earth. And then we lower on the exhale. Inhale, push into the hands, come up a little higher for cobra. Big smile while you're there, big open chest. Nice, and then tuck those toes under. Lift the hips high, downward facing dog. Hands push the earth away, thighs reaching back, hips lifting high, just noticing how this down dog feels compared to our very first one. Slowing things down. One more breath. Nice, and then just slowly look to the middle of the mat, step the feet forward, bring the bottom to the ground. Soles of the feet to touch. Okay, for butterfly pose or bound angle pose. Option also, if you prefer, to take the legs nice and wide. So I'm going to let you choose which you prefer. If you're in this version, you're going to wrap your fingers around the toes, sitting nice and tall on your inhale. Let me show you from the side. Spine long, collarbone broad. As you exhale, just slowly beginning to navigate your way forward. And as you do, just noticing how that feels through the inner thigh area here. You might let go of the toes and walk those fingers forwards. You might feel good holding onto the toes. Those of you with legs straight, toes are pointing back towards you, remember, just still with that lengthening in the spine. And then take a big breath in, and this time on your breath out, can you creep those fingers just a little bit further forward once again? One last breath here. And then slowly begin the journey upward. Okay. Now we're going to take ourselves to lie down on our backs. And just find that comfortable position on your back here. Feet to the ground, knees bent. I'm going to pick up the right foot, cross the ankle over left knee here, and then go ahead and pick up left foot. Toes point back towards you. In fact, toes are flexed on both feet here. And you can take the hands to wrap around the back of the left shin. You can take them to wrap around front of the left shin if you wish. And you're drawing the legs towards your body. And that right knee is drawing away. So we're targeting that outer hip area here. Slowing the breath down. Now the shoulders want to stay nice and relaxed here. If you can't reach your legs, just let the legs be active and hands can stay on your belly or alongside your body. And just notice how that feels for you. And take a nice big breath, releasing into the glutes, an area that can often feel really tight, but often is underworked. And perhaps I'll put a class on in a couple of weeks' time, focused on the glutes and strengthening those. Take another breath. Nice. And then release the hands. I want you to wrap the legs around each other as best you can. Wiggle your hips over a little to the right side now. And then use your hands to lower the knees down to the ground. Right hand reaching over to the right side for a twist. Now, if that's too complicated, if it doesn't feel good, keep the left leg straight. Just bend the right knee. Keep it a really simple twist here. So we come back to notice that feeling through the outer hip. We come back to notice that feeling of twisting through the spine, knowing that all of these muscles are connected. The fascia that wraps around the muscles is connected. So when we make a movement in one part of the body, it automatically will affect and help other parts of the body. Take a big breath here. And then just slowly, slowly unwind. Come back to center. Pause for a moment with the feet on the earth, just grounding down. And when that big breath is complete, left leg will cross over right, toes flexed. Picking up right leg, hands wrapping around the back of the thigh, potentially the front of the shin. Drawing the legs towards you as you reach that left knee away from you. So you transfer the sensation of feeling now to that outer left hip. And just notice how that feels here. How does the left side feel compared to the right side? Any similarities or differences? Where do I have balance? Where do I need to focus my attention on creating more balance? One more breath. Nice. Now release the hands from the legs. Wrap the legs around each other as best you can. Wiggle yourself over a little to the left. Thighs reach over to the right. Left arm reaching over to the left here. You can prop the knees up with blocks if you need. Gaze wherever feels comfortable for your neck. Eyes can be open or closed. Know that we journey towards Shavasana, so this is the final shape that we'll practice. So can you start to soften around the edges? Is there any lingering tension that you notice in the body that you can try to breathe away in these final moments? Take another big breath together here. And then slowly begin to unwind those legs. Come back to center. Take your time to find the middle of the mat. Readjust if you need to. And slowly arrive into your final resting pose, Shavasana. Now, some of you might want to hug the knees in and just massage the spine, a little rolling side to side. Hands can rest on the belly or take up as much space as you need. Arms out wide here. Closing the eyes, softening the muscles around the mouth, the forehead. Letting the whole of the back line of the body just simply melt down into the ground. As you take this opportunity just to simply be. If you have the time to stay in Shavasana a while longer, please do. If you're finishing the class with me, just taking a moment to wiggle the fingers and the toes here. Bringing the awareness back into the body. As you slowly reach the arms up overhead, inviting that full body stretch. And drawing the knees gently towards the chest, giving them a hug as you roll a little from side to side, back and forth. Eventually coming to roll over and rest for a moment on whichever side feels best. And using your hands to push the ground away, just slowly bringing yourself back to a comfortable seat. Keeping the eyes closed if you can, just noticing how you feel here, how the mind is doing, how the body is doing. And let's see if we can carry this awareness of our physical body, this awareness of our mind, our mood, our energy, the space that we've created with us into the rest of our day, the rest of this brand new week ahead of us. Bring the hands together at heart center. Bowing our head to our hands in gratitude for our bodies, in gratitude for the practice, in gratitude for our health. Namaste.